Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and I wanted to discuss a topic that hopefully won't come up too much in your life, but inevitably it will at least a few times. And that is grieving someone who has passed away. And I've been talking to a bunch of people connected to my friend who passed away, and one of the things that we've been talking about is, well, like how long do we grieve for? Like, how long will I feel like this? How long, is it appropriate to grieve? There's no such thing, by the way. You can just grieve. If you feel things, let them be felt. But I basically feel as though it is extremely different for everybody involved. Your grieving process, this is said a lot of the time, especially in those like murder mystery shows, but everybody grieves differently. The last month and a half, I have been incredibly busy. Like, I find it really hard to say no to different activities. And when somebody says, hey, do you want to go to a music festival? Hey, do you want to go camping? Hey, do you want to do this? Hey, could you jump in and help us do this thing? I've basically just said yes to everything. And a friend of mine who is also going through this whole process has commented like, Jax, like, I can't believe you're able to do that stuff. Like, I've just been hiding in my basement. Like, I can't go out. I just burst into tears. And so we really do grieve in completely different and complex and multifaceted ways. So the idea that you have to wear black for 2 months, like a Victorian widow, that's not real. That's not accurate. If you feel the need to do that and if it feels right to you, go for it by all means. And obviously, when someone passes away, they have an intricate set of relationships. They might have parents or children or aunts and uncles and cousins and best friends and twins and siblings and all of this kind of stuff. And based on your connection, you're going to have a very different process. Some of my friends weren't super close with the one who passed away, and their lives are going on as normal. And I'm not holding that against them. I'm not saying like, well, you did know her, like you should be mourning her in a different way. Like, I understand it's very different for everybody, and it's different based on how close you are with the person, the circumstances around how they passed away. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of different intrigue that goes into a situation like this. But when it comes to how long should you grieve or how should you grieve, you honestly have an open window to whatever you feel. Like I said, if you want to wear black, if you want to go to music festivals and try and live life to the fullest, I think in my own experience, what I'm doing right now is I'm essentially living for two people. Like, I'm trying to experience as much of life as possible and do as many activities, do as many things I can, partly to stay busy, to keep my mind, in the positive, but also because I feel as though I need to, carry on the legacy of who my friend was. And I know that she would love to have been going to these different things, to these exciting events. She would have been really excited about the new Taylor Swift album, and that's been really hard for me and some friends to wrap our heads around, that this will be the first album that we hear that she didn't get to hear while she was here. So that is the struggle. And I know it's super cheesy, but some days will feel much better than others. Some days are going to feel super happy and you're just going to feel great. And then maybe you're reminded of the loss and everything goes gray. And some days you'll just feel good and you'll feel good. That's it. And then some days you'll wake up and just feel miserable and you want to hide in your bed or watch a comfort television show or whatever it might be. But I really want you to feel as though you can grieve the way you want to grieve. Some of my friends have been essentially crying nonstop, and my friend's family, dealing with the loss, planning funeral, planning all of these different intricate things that happen when we pass away. They are going through it, and I totally understand it. But each member of the family is going through it in their own way. and that is natural, and you have to respect that and try and be there in any capacity that you can be there. So if you encounter someone in your life who is going through grief, don't add to the grief. Don't question why they're doing what they're doing, or say that they really should be doing this, or you really should buy a widow's cowl or whatever. Like, they are going through the process the best they can with their abilities, and to sort of get on someone's guff about how they're doing it or how they're going about it is really not helpful. It just adds to the difficulty, and it probably adds to the grief, because then they'll start feeling guilty about not grieving the proper way. I've never felt guilty about the way that I've acted when I've lost somebody that I've loved. I have always tried to follow what I think is right and what I want to do, and not just blindly follow a code or a set of traditions that you have to follow. You're not tied to that kind of stuff. Maybe your family or your religion requires a certain amount of ceremony or tradition. And if you feel like you can respect that, and that brings comfort or makes your family happy or whatever, and you want to do that, that's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, it is your prerogative. You do not have to grieve or mourn in a specific way. It is open to you no matter what. And I just felt like I needed to make a video that kind of said this, because some people that I know are kind of being criticized for the way that they are behaving after such a traumatic event. And I don't think that's right. I really don't think it's appropriate. Someone has gone, and that alone is a devastating, debilitating fact to get your head around. What we don't need are toxic people, or horrible messages, or long-standing traditions that don't really help us. We don't need those things in the way as well. We've got enough on our plate. So, moral of the story: grieve the way you want to, mourn the way you want to. But one piece of advice that I would give you is try and remember the most beautiful moments. It can be like sharing a cup of coffee, watching a show together, going on a ridiculous adventure, going on a road trip or a car breakdown, or venting about exes and friends and ridiculous parties, or whatever it might be. It can be super mundane, it can be amazing. But try, while you're grieving, to focus on the good stuff. You can get bitter, you can get angry with the universe, angry with God, angry with the circumstances of how they passed away. But at the end of the day, those things really aren't going to change anything. They really aren't going to affect your life going forward. And so I really encourage you to try and focus on the positives. Try and remember the person or the loss that you've dealt with in the beautiful light that it was in the situation, not the impact of it going forward. And if you need to focus on an impact going forward, remember that you do carry these people with you in your heart forever. And I know it sounds super cheesy, it sounds like a Disney movie, but it's really true. The people we love in life have this incredible legacy that they leave us, whether it is a grandparent, whether it is a best friend, whether it is a parent or a sibling or a child, God forbid. But these people touch our lives, they make them better. And I think we can all agree that if they're worth grieving the loss of, they're also worth loving the legacy they left you. And like the saying goes, and I know, again, I'm being super cheesy, I'm sorry about it, but it is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Let me know what you think. Let me know about your grieving process or the stories that you've experienced. Be very respectful in the comments, please. This is like a sensitive topic for a lot of us. And again, thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate everyone who listens to me rant. Thank you so much. I love listening to your advice and reading your comments and seeing the discussion that takes place. So, as always, I hope you're having a beautiful day, week, month, year, century, millennium, whatever you're having. I hope it's amazing. And as always, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.